You are bold, you are brilliant, and you are beautiful. There is no other woman like you because you are your own kind of woman. These are the affirmations that I give myself every morning to remind myself of who I am, to remind myself of what I've overcome, to remind myself of my worth and the woman I am in 2016. I felt freed once I realized I was never going to fit a narrow mold that society wanted me to fit into. And I understood that perfection and fashion don't go hand in hand. It's true. I honestly love my cellulite, my rolls, the inner part of my thighs that jiggle and touch. It's gorgeous. My name is Ashley Graham, and I am a model, designer, and body activist. Thank you. Goodbye. Over the last 15 years, I've come to the conclusion that there is no one perfect body, because I, like you, possess a wonderfully unique and diverse physique. See, the fashion industry, it has told me that I'm plus size. It's boxed me into something that has labeled me because of the number inside of my pants. See, this is really actually interesting, and a lot of people don't know this, but plus-size fashion actually starts at a size 8, and it goes up to a size 16, 18 for a working model. And the average size American woman is a size 14. So hold up, wait a minute. The majority of this room is a size 14, so you're plus size. How do you feel to be categorized? How do you feel to be put inside of a box because of the number inside of your pants? I didn't like it either. We need to start looking beyond the exterior of a woman, and we need to start looking at her for what she's doing, who she is, and for her to be a role model in 2016. My career, it all kind of began when I was 12 years old. I was in a mall in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I was scouted. Somebody just came up to me and said, "Hey, you want to be a model?" At 13, I was signed with a major modeling agency, and I was traveling the world shooting amazing campaigns. At 17, I graduated high school, and while most 17-year-olds are going off into their escapades of college, mine took place in the midst of catwalks, catalogs, and casting calls right here in the streets of New York. Back home in Nebraska, I was already labeled the fat model, the girl who was pretty for a big girl. Raise your hand if you heard that one. I always hated answering that question. What do you do for a living? I would reply with, well, I'm a model. And I would be so insecure that I would quickly qualify with, well, I'm a plus-size model, hoping that they would stop tensing up and that my insecurity wouldn't show through. As a young model, my confidence was tugged at and pulled in all different directions. I struggled to achieve true confidence. And when I would go home, I would be disgusted with the woman that I saw in the mirror. I was incapable of affirming myself. And to fill a void on the inside, I began to cave to all the vices being thrown my way. Between the parties, the alcohol, the men. But in reality, it was my weight that I hated, that I despised. It was the external woman. My insecurities had to be faced head on. Because I, like so many young women, struggled to love the woman I saw inside of the mirror because of society's narrow vision of beauty. And it's really interesting because Dove did a global report on attitudes towards beauty. They surveyed thousands of women and girls in 10 different countries. And do you want to know what the most striking results were? Hope you're ready. Only 2% of women find themselves beautiful. 2%. It's like one table here. I don't know. I don't do math. Don't quote me on that. I'm just a model. As a curvy woman, it was the assumption that I had to look up to Marilyn Monroe or Jennifer Lopez because they were two of the most notable curvy women in society that were being praised for their curves and still are being praised for their curves, and mine are a little bigger. But these weren't my role models. In reality, the woman that I looked up to the most was my mother. She was the one who modeled for me that true beauty comes from within, and that validation and self-worth must also come from within as well. Having that instilled in me in such a young age made me realize in my lowest moments of insecurity that I needed to reclaim my body and its image as my own. I became my own role model. No one else was to have that job. My body, like my confidence, has been picked apart, manipulated, and controlled by others who didn't necessarily understand it. And once I reclaimed ownership over my body, I understood that there was a greater purpose as a woman who was redefining preconceived standards of feminine beauty. My confidence, it comes from a place from within, from much greater than my photos or validation from others. And it's really interesting because people in the fashion industry, I actually had an agent tell me, wave money in my face and tell me, if you lose some more weight, you can make a lot more of this. Oh, and P.S., you're never going to be in a magazine. You're never going to be on the covers of any magazines. And honey, I proved them wrong. Ten magazine covers in 2 years, and I was the first woman my size ever on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Never let anybody tell you no. Never let anybody tell you you can't. I have achieved, and I am still achieving what was seemingly impossible. And now, as a body activist, it is my greatest desire to give a voice to young women who struggle to look inside of the mirror and say, I love you, who have relinquished their rights to someone else. I believe beauty truly is beyond size. And with so much emphasis on the external, it's no wonder we all suffer so much internally. It's true, I wasn't able to love and embrace my hips and my weird-shaped butt and the cellulite on my thighs, and I wasn't, not until I loved the woman within. And once that happened, my career, my success, my drive, it all began to follow. It is critical that both men and women create a safe space. Create a safe space for the important women in your lives. For women to be who they are, not hide themselves because of what they're not. If anything, remember this. Be you. Be real. Be authentic. Be your favorite kind of woman. Don't let anybody else take that job. And remember, you're here today because you decided to show up, because you decided to be your own role model and a role model for the women around you. Congratulations, graduates, and thank you very much.